Skyla, thank you for being here today. Again, I coach everybody to look at the whole entire audience, and you may begin whenever you are ready.
The White House by Skyla-White House. It is 1789, and the U.S. Capitol will be moving from Philadelphia to Washington, D.C. shortly. I, President George Washington, the first President of the United States of America, believe there's a need for a mansion fit for a president in the Capitol. But how to decide the best design? I know, a contest. Whoever can come up with the best idea will win the honor of having their design the symbol of freedom. Only 9 citizens entered my contest. One of the contestants was Thomas Jefferson, the second President of the United States of America. In 1792, I chose the winner. His name was James Hoban, a young Irish immigrant. His ideas was based off of a Charleston County courthouse in Charleston, South Carolina. James even brought along his 3 slaves to help build the new building. I started this tremendous project immediately and personally oversaw the preparations, plans, and construction myself. 7 years later, things took a turn for the worst. I died at home around 10 p.m. on Saturday, December 14, 1799. I was age 67. In my journal, Lear recorded my last words as being, "'Tis well." When I had passed, the president's mansion still wasn't finished. I had never even got to spend a night there. However, every president after me did and still does. On the night August 24, 1814, during the War of 1812, the White House got a bit hot. I, President James Madison, the 4th President of the United States of America, had to flee with my family on this fateful night. The British troops, also called Redcoats, set the mansion ablaze. The flames licked at every nook it could find. The only things that were saved from the White House, the original White House, was the painting of George Washington, saved by the First Lady, Dolly Madison, and the walls that saw it all happen. The White House was rebuilt almost in the same way, but over the years it slowly changed. "Fourscore-and-7 years ago is how I began my most famous speech, the Gettysburg Address. I am Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States of America. I did many great things when I was in office, including issuing the Emancipation Proclamation in January 1st, 1863, which states that all persons held as slaves within the rebellious states are henceforth shall be free, which abolished slavery. I also helped through the constitutional and political crises, which strengthened the federal government and modernized the economy, all while living with my family in the White House. My family consisted of my 4 children and my wife, Mary Todd. I love my children so much. I even gave my 2 youngest children pet goats so they could walk around with in the White House. When I got shot in Ford's Theater on April 14, 1865, my family was devastated. John Wilkes Booth, who was a well-known actor, was also a Confederate spy from Maryland. Although he never joined the Confederate Army, he had secret contact with the Confederate Secret Service. He was angry that I was promoting rights for African Americans, so he shot me. After 7 hours in a coma, I died. Huge funerals were held all across America. 42 years later, my wife joined me. Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States of America. Although I didn't like to show it to the public, I was the first disabled president in history. I had polio, so I had to get around either on crutches or a wheelchair. I came in as the president's right in the midst of the Great Depression. Many people had lost their jobs and were out on the streets with their children as a result of World War II, which was caused by Japanese bombers bombing Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. We won the war against Japan by using a new weapon called the atomic bomb. This kind of bomb is nuclear powered and very powerful. I wiped out 2 cities as well as killing 100,000 people. During these years, I was not only president for 2 terms, but I had doubled that with 4 terms. In 1951, no president shall be elected in the office of president more than twice was added as the 22nd Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. My health started to decline in my 3rd term. People begged me not to run for a 4th, but I didn't listen. In the middle of my fourth term on March 29, 1945, I vacationed to the Little White House, a cottage in Warm Springs, Georgia that I often went to escape the pressure of D.C. But shortly after that, I got a stroke and died. During the Depression and war years of my administration, the White House's annual repair budget was neglected. With the approval of Congress, I made major additions to the West and East Wing to accommodate the fact that the office of the President and organizations that answered directly to him had grown enormously. As a result, the West Wing was still overcrowded and lacked a cafeteria and a press theater. So I decided to do a remodel, but I didn't finish before I died. However, when Truman became president, he followed my detailed instructions and made the White House a dream house with 50,000 square feet, 6 stories, 132 rooms, 35 bathrooms, 412 doors, 147 windows, 28 fireplaces, 8 staircases, 3 elevators, 5 full-time chefs, a tennis court, a single-lane bowling alley, a movie theater, a jogging track, a swimming pool, and a putting green. We are now in present-day society with our 44th President, Barack Obama. The White House looks as if that has been the same all along, but we overcome things we didn't even know was possible. Considering that 12 American presidents have owned slaves, 8 of the 12, starting with Washington, have owned slaves while in office, it is a real testament and progression in our country that we now have our first African-American president in office. Barack Obama is in his second term and has left an indelible mark on history, especially with the passing of the Affordable Health Care Plan, or Obamacare, which brings universal health care to every person in America. He is also responsible for the ending of 2 wars and creating a greater transparency in the White House. As Michelle Obama has said, this is really what the White House is all about. It's the people's house. It's a place steeped in history, but it's also a place where everyone should feel welcome. And that's why my husband and I have made it our mission to open up the house to as many people as we can. Sure, the White House has overseen a fire, many wars, and 44 presidents, but it stands for much, much more than a house, for a president, or a symbol on the $20 bill. It stands for our freedom. Oh, beautiful, oh, spacious skies, oh, where my eyes are made. Oh, earth and mountain majesties, oh, floating cloud. Oh, America, wash of His grace and peace. And crown our heart with brotherhood, and sea to shining sea. Thank you, and God bless America.